All right, so
Yeah, it's
now to
good.
our third
Go
pick,
ahead.
Drake Maye, the New England
Right.
Patriots. All right, so Drake Maye,
Wow.
probably I feel like one of the most volatile draft picks that I feel like we've seen, in the past few years, where just, some people had him really high, some people had him really low. My brother, your son included, just kind of went through the whirlwind of just everywhere throughout this process. But the Patriots got Drake Maye. What are your first thoughts about that and how it played out?
Well, a lot of people must have liked
Yeah,
him. The Giants and Minnesota both did what they could to move up in the first round to the third pick to take Drake May. So there were a lot of teams that liked him a lot as that third quarterback. So
yeah,
that's the first thing. And of course, I'll give the team credit. New England, they weren't going to give in and take a couple first round draft picks in the second one, whatever, and get rid of who they thought was their new franchise quarterback. And I understand he's big, strong. We know all that. Really physical. Can take a beating. Survives that. He's going to do that. And he's anything they as a quarterback you do almost in New England, they're going to look
right.
at it as a plus. Because I'm not getting on the quarterbacks with there, but I guess I am. The arms and the throwing is just not NFL
Right.
caliber, period. And, Mac Jones was up there. Mac Jones knows how to process, read, and all that. But the one thing he didn't have enough. And, everybody always sometimes says to me, why do you talk so much about arm strength? Because it's
Yep.
important. It's like throwing a baseball hard and, in baseball, we want somebody who can throw it really hard. We don't. So, but, and I thought it hurt New England a lot in their pass game for Mac Jones and all that, just because they couldn't
Right.
make explosive plays. And the big thing, which I've said many times, I think Drake Maye. You and I are going to do a little something this week and do some videos on him, which I'm really excited to do. But and I've said it, and I think I made myself believe it even more a few days ago before the draft because I saw again downfield. I
Right.
love his throws on the run, right and left. He is fantastic throwing the ball down the field. But some of the short throws, and sometimes I see a little hitch in the throw. And I think I'm going to be able to show that to people and just tell you what
Yeah.
concerns me a little. And I saw a few of them in his pro day, all that. I'm not picking on him, but I'm just trying to show you maybe why some people like us have a little
Yeah.
reservation about him. There's a lot to love about him, but that little tick in the throwing motion, man, you know
Yeah.
how the NFL is. It's
Right.
just unforgiving. And so that's but the other thing is, what did New England do for him? Man,
Go
let's
ahead.
talk about that first. They drafted a lot of offensive players, wide receiver, this O lineman, and they needed to upgrade that offense big time. As I've said, I thought they were probably the slowest
No
team in the
doubt.
NFL last year, and they're trying to get away from that. The defense, sound as can be, and it just can't do everything. It can't score
Yeah.
for the offense too.
But damn, they
Their
tried.
defense was so well coached. Yeah, I know. So that's kind of my first thoughts about Drake May, and I'm anxious to see how
Yeah.
this works out in New
Yeah,
England.
I mean,
Go ahead.
Drake. I understand why people like him so much, and there's a lot of this game that I really do value at a premium at the position. But for me personally, when I was going through this evaluation process and really looking at him, that's where I couldn't kind of get over that hitch in the motion. I can't lie, I kind of hung on that maybe a little bit more than I maybe should have. I love the fact that he's a competitive as hell. I love his dynamic of his family. I love that he's the youngest of a bunch of boys that seem to be all just sports psychos,
Wow.
in the best way possible. So I love that aspect of the person, you know. But yeah, the throwing stuff occasionally at times and just the decision making in the game, occasionally it bothered me. It really did, And for me, that would have been
Right.
something where just, yeah, that's why he was number 5 on the list for me as top quarterbacks coming out of this draft because of those things. But he definitely has a extremely high ceiling, maybe as high a ceiling as really anybody, because he does have that room to grow and become better. I don't know how much more Caleb
Yeah.
Williams could do more to impress me more, as a quarterback. Whereas with Drake Maye, he can improve more and be more of just like a solidified, accurate passer and be more dynamic that way and be more consistent for me to say, wow, this guy really is amazing. But for me, I just didn't see it enough. I wish him well. I think the Patriots did a great job though, building, protecting around him. But let's go into
Great
this though.
job.
Did yeah. Oh,
Well, wait, hold on. I'm
okay.
gonna
Oh,
talk before
yeah,
we
go
go
ahead.
into it. I'm just gonna say,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, he's got those older brothers, so you know that what that means. He took a lot of
that's right.
ass
Yeah.
whoopings growing up. I mean, not only in competition, but
Yeah.
probably physically too. But the other thing is, he is tough as
Yeah.
hell. That's the one thing I love about him. And the other thing, the offensive coordinator up there, Alex Van Pelt, can really fit
Right.
Drake Maye. Cleveland. What I thought Cleveland's greatest thing on offense, especially after they lost Chubb, is the play action pass game, how they
Right.
can get it down the field. They had so many ways to do it, and I'll be shocked if we don't see all those ways with the
Yeah,
New England
for
Patriots
sure.
this year.
No,
So that's
and
my
no,
last
this
thought
is
there.
where I
What were you
just,
going to say?
your thoughts though too. They take Drake May in the first, then later on in the draft they take Joe Milton. What is your first impression when you kind of see that? Uh, it's not quite Robert Griffin, Kirk Cousins round two, but it's interesting that they took maybe the most impressive raw talent that was available at the quarterback position in Joe Milton. Because I know one thing, Drake May, yeah, you're the first round pick, but I'm telling you, man, the teammates there, when they see Joe Milton throw the ball, they're going to be like, damn, this guy's impressive. So, what are your thoughts on them taking Joe Milton late in the draft?
I hated it. I mean,
Why?
I hated it. I hated it for I
Yeah,
hated it for Drake May. You listen, there's nothing like being a quarterback and walking out on the field and physically being the best capable guy. Just, the look. And, you take it now you're going to put Joe Milton in that process, another rookie. That even to me
yeah,
makes it worse. And, a lot of people are, I even saw it on TV. They asked him, have they thought about moving to tight end? He goes, I've never heard that. And then he basically
no,
said, that's not going to happen. And
no,
okay, it shouldn't. Big, great arm, much better and more polished than I expected when I studied him
yeah,
at Tennessee this year. So that was impressive. Great kid and mobile. So there's a lot to like. I mean, hell, he's just another
yeah,
version of Drake May. And, maybe not as polished because of time and fighting through all the things that happened. Had a job even a year before, got hurt. And then, of course, Hendon Hooker came in there and wiped it up, and he never got back in there until the end. And when
right,
Hendon Hooker got hurt. But so, I'm just, it's just me as an ex quarterback and I don't like it. Let's put it that I just don't like the whole circumstances, the way it looks, and what kind of little box it can kind of put
yeah,
Drake May into. That's just my thoughts. I believe in him. And as soon as he was picked, I was with your brother, Christopher, and I said, what do you think? He goes, oh gosh. He had the same expression
yeah,
that I did right away. So
yeah.
that's what I feel about that. Give me
No, I mean
some of your
it's
thoughts
it's
about
it's
it.
just it's one of those weird things where just you thought that you were it man,
The
in a
man.
real short period of time, Drake May learned the business of the NFL. In less than 2 days,
Right.
he realized that yeah, the clock is ticking on your own career because they didn't even give you a year, for you to find out what you got. They already got a backup plan to you the same season. So I feel like it's just a kind of an awakening for him in that sense of like it is a business, and this dude is as talented as you in a lot of ways. And I think in a lot of ways, maybe as
Oh,
polished as
absolutely.
a passer, a more fluid thrower of the football to me, and someone
Yeah,
that
he
I
is
think really
fluid.
kind of got a bad rap because I think Tennessee as a whole just wasn't as good as they were the year before that and didn't quite have the same receiver talent. And, maybe just people kind of caught up to what they were doing schematically on offense a little bit and wasn't as creative. But I
Right.
mean, Joe Milton's got it
Right.
all. He really does. The only thing that Drake has over him, I think, is really just the amount of reps and experience of being the guy for an extended period of time. So, really interesting. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it myself, but I guess there's no better time to learn than now as far as just the business of NFL for Drake May. So hopefully he can overcome that pretty quickly.